Good afternoon here. We're, 2 years about, because it's summertime. It was summertime when I started this section of this video. And you saw me out there on the river casting this very skin, okay? Well, there was another component with this skin that you saw me making, and that was the fiberglass hard mold. This is just floppy, and it just gives texture. Well, that green fiberglass that I made, which didn't cover this whole thing because I didn't bring enough with me, was, I don't know where it is now, but we did use it to create the mold that we now use. This is just an original skin that we'll go back to if we need it, but I've replicated the actual rock here. This is what we call an RP60, a rock panel 60, and it is exactly the same texture and form that you saw out there on the river. Again, what I said to you when I was there at the river, when I suggested that I didn't have the hard mold completed, I came back and I laid that green fiberglass, which was like a V. If you look at this, it has kind of a V, kind of a profile. I guess if you turn it sideways, you might could see it, but you know, this skin doesn't look anything like that. So when I came back to the shop, I actually put the skin or the fiberglass down, and I put what skin I had, or the skin into the fiberglass. And where the fiberglass wasn't supported by the skin, I think I just took some old rags or some wadded up cardboard or something to give me the profile that I wanted to get me back to where I was. Now, again, that was kind of like a paraphrase. It wasn't exact. If you're looking for an exact replication, you have to get the hard mold to cover that entire rubber. Nobody that's ever seen this says to me, "Hey Jim, that doesn't look anything, or it doesn't look like the rock that you made out, you took a copy of in the river." Nobody knows. In fact, I have several times taken these molds and put, like, I'll put you a piece of plywood right here, I'll tack this to it, and I'll make this just like this, or maybe I can pooch this up like this. Any way that I want to, I can configure this rubber, and by supporting it by several different means of trash, wood, whatever, and get it to the profile that I'm after. When I cast into it, it comes out and it'll be a different look than this. So right now, we've taken this skin and we made the original copy, which you're looking at right here. And then I came by and I cleaned up the edges and just made it more rectangular. In fact, I cut some of the loose ends off. Even though it's kind of erratic, it's still a nice finished edge. And then we created this, which is a copy of a copy, second generation, but it's got the hard mold complete underneath it, which gives this form. Again, this particular piece of rubber, if I put it on the table, it'll react much like that one and want to lay flat. Well, if you look at the hard mold here, you'll see this area here I really captured because it had the most life in it. I captured that with the green fiberglass. The only thing I really had to fake was this end here. But you can see the elevation change in that hard mold. So this gives me the form, and when this gets put into it, it gives me the texture. Oop, I got it upside down. It gives me the texture, and the two together make ultimately the mold. So now I want to take the opportunity. The guys have cleaned this. They've sprayed it with a mold release twice, paintbrushed it in. We're now about to put some cream coat into it, and then we'll back that with the fiber mud. We'll just go ahead and cast this, and then out of that casting will come an image just like this. So basically now what I want to show you is us casting by hand, because I realize a lot of you do not have a concrete pump, and I'm not really willing to show you my concrete pump because it's a modified pump and it's kind of proprietary to what I do. But we're just going to hand pack this as though probably most of you would. So it's totally possible. Anyway, stick with us. Okay, we've mixed up the cream now, and the viscosity of the cream is something like a kind of a milkshake, maybe a little thinner. And Shaq, you want to throw me a brush? This one's kind of crappy. I like new brushes. At any rate, do you a brush? And we're going to paintbrush. Really want to work this into the surface. Really, don't try and apply too much all at once. Get the surface coated, and then you can back it. You want to paintbrush some? Get up here on the table. Get up. You got to get up to paint. You can climb up. So anyway, we're going to coat it with basically two coats. One, the real pushed in one, and then the second one, which is done right on top of the other one. Paintbrush it in. Anyway, covering all this with the cream, that's going to be the first thing that comes out of the mold. Checker, you can go ahead and cover that. When you look at the rock, that's what you're seeing is this cream. It is fiberless, aggregateless. It is going to have the best ability to get into that definition and pull it out and recapture it. So kind of that's where they're doing now. And Scar, why don't you give him a hand there. We'll just go ahead and paintbrush this all in, and you guys can watch. Let me see if we can't locate that a little closer to getting a good shot of it. Okay, D and Sheck. D's my grandson from Skylar, and then Sheck's right there. He's working hard. But D's a third generation rock maker here on one of his first projects. No, he's been in the shop quite a bit. You know how to paint rocks, right, D?
A little more.
Yeah?
Oh, step a little more.
There you go. Like that.
Oh, why? More. Oh, more.
So they're really working that into the surface just to try and capture. He's got more for you, D. Right there, puppy. Paintbrush this, and D just put a bunch. Sheck put a bunch there for you. Work it in. Push it in hard. Again, if you can hear that on the tape here, how they're really pushing that in. They're trying to capture that cream into that definition. Sheck, go ahead and show, kind of just play with that mud a little bit in your hands, squish a little bit of it there. It's like an oatmeal kind of a deal, but you can see, let me pan in on that and get our particular fiber mud is extremely inundated with fiber, unlike any in the industry. So Sheck's going to go ahead and start packing.
One or two.
One. Again, in our particular panels being about a ½ inch thick, you know, we're able to achieve a 12,000 psi strength in that rating. Well, again, that's going to conclude this section here. I mean, all they're going to do now is just paintbrush it in, kind of smooth it out on the back just for aesthetics. And, you know, if you have your other DVDs here with the other casting that we've done, if you have any questions, give us a call. You're going to check these area?
Yep, that's good. Go put that in.
That's good, puppy. I'm going to take off your glove. Let me see. Oh no, that's all we're doing right there.
Yep, we're all done.
So that's good. I just got to put that in place and do a little narration. Good to go.
We are doing.
What are you doing?
Got mud on my pan.
That was your dad.
Right
I
there. Dad, I don't want my pen.
Yeah.
Get off.
Yeah.
Get off. Dad.
That's. Ooh. Now in the daub, I just went 2 colors of speckle, right? Now I'm daubing. In the daub, you're hitting highs and lows. It's this brush isn't discriminating between the two. But it is going to make texture. Doesn't this, I mean, this is a flat piece of cardboard. Can you not see some activity there that kind of is an illusion of what? Life. It's not just a color. When you first go on, when you just load your brush, you don't know how much, so you barely touch it. See? I can see an effect here, and now I'm putting a little more pressure. As you have a fully loaded brush, you don't want to go in there and push hard. As I go now, I'm going to be emptying more and more of this off, so I'll push a little harder as I go on. So the old brush is really good for daub. Now I could do the speckle just that way with the guns. On a little piece like this, I'm not going to break that out. But if you were doing, you know, this project, this gun, and I'll show it to you because we're going to do some speckles, will be the tool of choice, and I can get big old fat spots down to real fine spots, and I can move like the wind. I mean, it's very fast. New brush now for the skim. If you take an old brush, it just seems like it's like a rake, almost like what this is doing now, only more. It's a bunch of streaks. A new brush doesn't do that as much. All right. Now I'm just going to come by and skim on some color. And what do you see now happening? It's picking up the highs, and it's really, you know, illuminating them, so to speak. And I'm choosing a light color. Could choose any color. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this, I'll go over with a dark color. I could care less. And always put the light on before the dark. No, there's no, I've heard this by some, should you put the light colors on first? And you know what? You're overthinking it. Just get it done. Just throw it on there. But mind you, you're doing this on a panel here first, and then you'll do the job. That way you figure yourself out, but really, that old boy just got after it, man. Look at that, you can see that, picking up those highs, isn't it? I know it's streaking in the valleys a little bit here and there, but mainly, it's picking up the highs. And again, light when you first start out, because now this I don't like. Do you see what I just did there? I kind of got a streak of the color. Now I'll probably go over it, but I saw it like a paintbrush, and now it's gone. So when you get that, flatten it out like I just did, and it won't do that. See that? It's just going to take that rake aspect out of it, even though I just got it again. I'm going to get this thing wet real fast. Maybe too much air. You see all my color washing off? It don't move, it's dried, it's locked in. Now you can paint this on, you can spray it on, you can throw it on. I mean, there's a lot of ways of getting color on. And then how much you put on has a lot to do with what actually happens. Now you've got a lot of water on that surface, and this is gonna do its own thing right now, and I could just leave it, and I'm doing this all the way down. Don't mind those. I'm doing this all the way down like that. And I'm letting it be. You know what? You're not gonna see any of that, what I just did, at all. There's so much water on that surface, it's all going down. What you might see is one of these little ledges or cups, it might pool in there, but that much water, I keep talking, and I don't lock that in right now, it's gonna be nothing. So if you want an effect, maybe you don't put so much water on, and you put the stain on, you know, just putting a toner on, you put it on, it runs because it's mostly water. Well, I'm doing strong colors with some water added to it. And now this is going to be a drier surface now because I've been talking, so it's more likely going to stay. You saw it run right away, right? I just want a little more richness and color. Just a little bit here and there. I got a jet, need more of a fan. Probably don't need as much air. Now, when you're doing speckles, you hear that? You hear how it's on? I've got my hand pulled back so as to keep a mean average here with the air, to keep it consistent, because if you let off and you pull all the way back, you've got initially you got a little more pressure than you will after you've done that, so you get an indifference to the actual outcome. This is big speckles, can you see it? It's gonna run on this, so just for a little, I guess it's melding right in. Don't even have to water it. A little more air. Go up and look at the diversity in that. You know, you're in the 20-foot area right now. There's a lot of stuff, and you ain't picking out one thing that I've done, and if you looked at this, you'd go, how did he do that? You wouldn't know. It looks very realistic, it looks complicated, it looks artistic. If we discern that this is fake, this guy's an artist. And I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just telling you, this is very high definition in the paint job, but it just took a few little process steps there, and it's done. I don't get enough feedback. Give me feedback. Am I blowing my own horn, or am I right?
That's good. That's good. I have a question. Is there some kind of element I saw somewhere that you can actually add to this that would make the moss and stuff?
Yeah, we'll go over that. That's the overlay. That was the technique that I was forgetting today. Oh. The overlay technique. Thank you. That reminds me.
But moss is the overlay?
Moss, sedimentary, mineral deposits. There's a lot of.
Oh, you can get that to happen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. May not be your color, but do you appreciate the effect?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what color is that?